Patriots. This is me, Paris Wade, and we've got an exciting episode of Politics with Paris planned for you. Now, I'd like to get right into it. This last week, I interviewed a wonderful woman named Lucretia Hughes. She went viral after an inspiring speech where she is quoted saying, "God, family, country, Trump." And it is just an amazing speech, and she gives it to a group of women who give her a standing ovation when she finishes.
We're seeing it every single day. Yeah. People that supports America support Trump. We get spit on, we get attacked, we get harassed, we get name calling, and we get backbiting. And enough is enough. You know what? I'm sorry. We need to stop blowing kisses at the devil. God said, get out there and witness in his name. And he also said, when two or more get together in my name, I am in the midst of it all. We're here in the midst of our nation, and we need to bring him back to the forefront. So when you're getting out there and you're frustrated, you're tired, you've been talked about, you done lost family members, your friends hate you, and your kids do too. Remember what you're fighting for. And you're fighting for God, family, country, Trump. God, family, country, Trump. God, family, country, Trump. And take it to the street and get our president back in the White House.
Gave an amazing interview, and she's just a delight to talk to. And when I sat down and talked to her, I got right into exactly what she likes about our president.
Hi, this is Paris Wade with Penn Media, and here I'm speaking with Lucretia Hughes, who I met on Facebook. I had a lot of fans point out that I needed to meet this lady after we published a video of a pretty jaw-dropping speech that you did, and I just wanted to do a quick interview with you, Lucretia, and talk about what you're doing, why you support President Trump, and what are your plans for the 2020? And I'm going to turn it over to you. Tell me a little bit about yourself. I know you live in Georgia. I'm actually from East Tennessee, just so you know. I grew up in Knoxville area, so not too far away. And I just wanted to see what what your story is, like what got you into the whole MAGA movement.
Well, I really wouldn't say it was the MAGA movement, because what really got me involved was Barack Obama, when I was actually out there campaigning for him, because it woke me up to politicians and in politics. But I started paying attention to what he was doing, what Nancy Pelosi was doing, both the Republicans and the Democrats. So when the bikers, the veterans, and the truckers have the rally in Washington, D.C., that's when I decided to take a stand and drive all the way to Washington, D.C. by myself, because my son had just joined the Air Force. So I needed to stand up for something.
Yeah. And how long's your son been in the Air Force then?
Well, he was in there for 4 years, and then he fell in love with a hometown girl. Who goes way across the country, but come home and fall in love.
Oh, that's how it happens, though, right?
And
amazing.
then he gave me 4 grandchildren. So I am a woman. I'm a woman that had 4 children before she was 20, and now I have 7 grandbabies. So that is what I'm fighting for, and that is my why.
So then I asked her for a little bit of background about her amazing speech, which was just incredible.
Like, what made you support President Trump? Because we've all seen your amazing speeches, and what brought you into the fold for becoming a Republican?
Tea Party. The Tea Party, you remember the basis of what the Tea Party was actually founded for was to take it back to the Revolutionary War, no taxation without representation. So that was what the Tea Party was started for. And this stuff started shaking my core, because if you look at rhinos, Republicans, Democrats, it seemed like a lot of them had their feet in the pond when it came to selling out our sovereignty. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. I love America, regardless of if it's good or bad, our history. I love the land that we live on. But what got me really paying attention to President Donald Trump, because I've always looked up to him, even during the lifestyle of the rich and famous. He was not my first pick. My first pick was Dr. Ben Carson, because I knew his story. I knew who he was. I knew he's a brilliant brain surgeon. But if you remember at the debates, Dr. Ben Carson did not hear his name, but you had Jeb Bush and another one, Marco Rubio, just passed Dr. Ben Carson, and he was just standing behind the stage. But Donald Trump at that time stopped, shook his hand, patted him on the shoulder, and told him to go ahead. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute, let me look at Donald Trump. And then I started listening to what he had to say. Like he said, what you got to lose? What do you
Yeah.
normally have to lose after everything that we just went through, the worst recession of my lifetime, the taxes being a fine for not having health insurance, Obama booing God, the whole thing, it just turned me completely away from the Democratic Party.
That speech, you got to give me a little bit more background on that speech you gave where you said God, country, Trump. Was that in Virginia? Correct me if I'm
It
wrong.
was
Or
Virginia Women for
okay,
Trump. What do I stand for? And before even President Trump, I stand for God, family, country, and Trump. The first three never changes. It does not matter who is in the White House. It doesn't matter who's sitting in office. But what are you fighting for? Who do you stand up for? Who do you represent? Well, God is the founder of my life, the head of my life. I fight for my family and I love my country. So regardless when President Trump leaves office, those first three never changes. You can take with country, the criminal justice reform, the First Step and the Second Chance Act. You can look at family
yep,
has been destroyed from the core foundation of what a man is. I don't understand where my women at. Y'all getting attacked left and right. It's like men has no voice anymore. What is toxic masculinity? Because I call that being manly man. And I love my men, and I have sons and I have grandsons. So for y'all to get attacked the way y'all was, and my fathers are still alive, I can't deal with that. So with
yeah.
God, come on, the Democratic Party a month ago took God completely out of the DNC, completely out of their platform, and then they chastised believers. How did we get ass backwards?
Yeah.
So those first three, like I said, never changes. But what do I fight for? What do I represent? Being a Tea Party constitutionalist, Republican, I stand for God, family, country, and President Trump. And it just kind of caught on, and I just started chanting it.
Oh, I love it. I mean, that was the part that people kept on like commenting to me about. Is like they loved your chat, they loved the way you spoke. And are you going to keep on speaking, Lucretia?
Absolutely. As long as I'm
Great.
invited, you know what? That's all we have is being citizens. That's all we have is being human beings. We have the word, we have our voices, and that's what we're commanded to do, to get out there and testify and witness to people. Like I said, I had 4 children by the time I was 20. So if I can help a woman that's in need, if I can help underprivileged people, if I can help people in poverty and point them in the right direction and tell them do not depend on anybody else, because you live in a land that no longer, it doesn't matter if you was born poor, that don't mean you have to stay there, but you
Yep.
could do your own research. Quit listening to what people have to say. Pick up a book, pick up an article, and you make up your own mind of what's going on in the world and choose what side you're on, because it's that serious now.
Yeah, and I think that's well said. I mean, a lot of Republicans get a lot of flack for being, heartless. I've seen that, in the media and online. But it's really just the idea of a hand up, not a hand out. And
Exactly.
that's something that I think you just hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's just that's the thing that a lot of Republicans believe in, that we should help each other. But what is it? You can't, if you don't teach somebody how to do something, they'll just never do it. They'll just keep on getting handouts forever. And I've seen that in my own life, and I'm sure you've seen the same thing.
Well, since you are a Southern boy, I'm just saying,
Yeah,
you never heard you teach a man how to fish.
I was gonna
Don't
say it. I'll
make
let you
him
do it.
fish, okay?
Yeah.
That's what it is. You can lead a horse to water, but
Yep.
you can't make him drink it.
Then I asked Lucretia what her plans for the future are and what is she going to be doing in 2020.
So, Lucretia, what are your plans for the future then? Like I said, we'd love to see more videos of you, and I'm sure you're going to keep on going viral. But what are your plans for the future? What do you want to see happen in the government, and what are you looking for Trump to do in 2020?
Maybe change their minds, not even change their minds, but to show them that y'all work for us. We don't
Yep.
work for you. You're supposed to be a representative of your constituents. Start listening to your constituents and stop listening to global. What I really want to continue doing, I want to continue my show, which is taking articles from mainstream media and putting a spin on it. If it goes against the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, or it's a detriment to society, I want to call them out. I don't want to be PC'd to death, because you know what? I'm tired of people being lied to when the proof is right there in your face. Dig a little deeper. It'll scare you because you didn't know this was going on, because we all been walking around with eyes wide shut. And then it's time to wake it up. Because I'm, no offense, I am what you call a Generation X. And we supposed to be the worst generation in history. But what they taught us to do was taught us how to think for ourselves and think logically and not emotionally. But I know what I'm fighting for, and I refuse to have my children and grandchildren to look at somebody else to get their information when they can come and get it from me.
And that's it for tonight, folks. We really appreciate, and make sure to go follow us at YouTube, on YouTube at Penn Media. Now you can go find us just by searching Penn Media in the YouTube search bar, and we look forward to giving you regular updates on politics and what is happening today.